After gathering the information and after selecting the sources for the supply, the retailer moves to the third step, which is the evaluation. So evaluation of products which the retailer going to buy. So what is evaluation is about? The merchandise under consideration are normally evaluated, and this evaluation is done either through the inspection or through the sampling. Depends on the nature of the product. So normally, for example, if you are going to inspect a non-food item, then you normally acquire a sample, or normally you acquire an inspection report or a quality report from the laboratory. So this will really help you in identifying, in inspecting that particular product. And if it is about the food product, normally you go for sampling or tasting, because that will really help you in identifying that either this particular product is matches with the taste of the customer, of the target customer, or not. So in both the cases, it is food or non-food. Either you are going to got the inspection of the product, or you do the sampling of that product, testing of the product. So ultimate objective is the evaluation of the merchandise which you are going to select for your retail store. So let me share with you the checklist of points to review while choosing the vendors, because how you can evaluate, there's a checklist to it. So the first point in the checklist is the reliability of the vendor. So either the vendor which is giving you the product is reliable enough, the supplier will be able to consistently fill the promises which will be made with the retailers or not. So either he is a reliable supplier or a non-reliable supplier. This will be identified through a consistency of the promises, consistently fulfillment of the promises which the supplier is make, or with the market reputation, because the market reputation will exactly tell you that either the supplier is reliable or not. Then you check about the price, about the quality. So who provides the best merchandise, and of course at the lowest prices or at the very competitive prices, because that would be the differentiation factor for the retailer. Then order processing time, which is the third point in the checklist. How fast will the deliveries will be made? So if you are going to order for a particular product or service, then how much time would it take to the manufacturer or to the source of supply or to the vendor? How much time would it take to deliver to your store? Because if there is empty shelves, your customer will be annoyed. And then exclusive rights, very important point. So will the supplier will give you exclusive rights of selling, or will the supplier will make customized products for you? So in both the cases, normally if you will observe internationally, that for a particular retail store, in case of food, the company normally designs or develop a different size of the product or different measurement of the size of the product. So what will happen in the case that you have the exclusive right of that particular size. For example, if the bottle is available in 500 ml or 200 ml, and then maybe 1 liter. So maybe for a particular retailer, it is available 1.25 liter. So that is actually the exclusivity. So if the retailer, if the vendor is going to offer you some exclusive right or some exclusive product, some customized product, would be an added advantage, will be a positive fact in identifying this vendor. So what are the functions which a vendor will provide you, which a vendor will, the supplier will be giving you? Will it be giving you the transportation or delivery facility? Will they do storing for you, storage for you, warehousing facility to you? So all different functions, if you need them, is the supplier capable to do that, or is the supplier is willing to help you? Because normally the phenomena is that you work with a supplier, that if you will grow as a retailer, the supplier will grow automatically. So the next point in the checklist is about the information. So will the supplier will be able to share the information, the necessary information about the market, about the competitor, about the customer, whatsoever he will have? Either he is ready to give you the information. If yes, it is a positive for him. If no, then of course company will be, retailer will be marking him negative in that particular point. About the ethics. So will a supplier fulfill all verbal promises and not engage in any unfair business or any labor law issues, some labor practices? So you are going to see either is an ethical supplier, ethical vendor, or their practices are not ethical. About the guarantee. which is the next point in the checklist. So either supplier have the proper guarantee, or the supplier is able to fulfill its promise with respect to guarantee. If they are going to offer some warranty, so then in this case, do they have the proper service center or the complete solution for it? Because if it is not there, then of course your customer will be disturbed, and the customer will blame the retailer. The next point in that list is about the credit. So either the supplier will be able to give you the credit or not, because that is one of the key of the business model about any retailer. Because retailer, if they buy on cash, the business model will never work for them. So it has to be on the credit. So it is one of the key points on the list, and that credit terms should be suitable, should be viable for the retailer. So is the supplier is interested in the long-term relationship? Because if the supplier will say that, okay, I'm going to work only for 6 months, only for this season, then maybe that supplier would be question mark. But if the supplier is ready to work with you for the longer period of time, that is a positive point in this segment. So reordering. So will the supplier will be able to fulfill the orders? Reordering will on the promptly. He will manage the deliveries properly? We'll be discussing in this point. About the markups, will price margins markup will be adequate? Will the retailers will get adequate profits, adequate margins? If it is yes, it is of course a win-win for the retailer and the supplier. Innovativeness. So is a supplier's line innovative, or still is the following the conservative approach? The conservative in terms of the product, in terms of packaging, in terms of the business approach. So normally the retailer prefer to work with the suppliers that are innovative in their approach of product, of packaging, of delivery, of placement, of every single thing. And then local advertising is the next point in the checklist. So is supplier normally is managing the below the line activities or the above the line activities related to marketing? If it is yes, then it is a positive point, because the product will have the awareness, and ultimately the customer will buy more and more products. Second last point on the checklist is about the investment, that how large a total investment cost with a supplier. And then the last point on the list is the risk, that how much risk is involved in dealing with that particular supplier. So a retailer will evaluate that starting from the reliability and ending up on the risk. These checklists will be evaluated for all suppliers, all vendors, which you have just selected in the second step. So this will really help you in moving forward to the next step in a very productive manner, because if the selection criteria is not properly followed, of course retailer will face consequences.